Holy smokes, live chat's moving. Got Bill Saflarski, Sherry Miller, Josh and Janice Leacher here, Jim, Iffy Kid, Ted Miller's here, Prescott, Aspen Glow Designs is here, Scott and Ann from Wise Choice. I think we're caught up. All right. It's been a, I'm going to move you guys over on this side so that I can see a little bit better beyond the chat. It's been a busy week in the Woodyard. We moved a pile of firewood this week. Used the Cord King quite a bit. We finally got one last cold day where the temperatures dropped low enough and there was no standing water, so we got a bunch of firewood delivered. Got 2 loads sitting in the yard for Gramp, so all of you guys that have been jonesing for another Gramp video, he'll be back. We got plenty of cutting to do for a little bit, but that's probably going to be the last wood that comes into the yard until probably May. So hopefully that carries us through and holds us through. Orders are still coming in just about as quick as we can get to them, and we've got lots to do because the next show is coming up quick, the Richmond Expo down in Virginia, so we will be down there. If anybody is looking for any Cord King equipment and you want to pick up and save yourself some freight, I know we still do have a few machines and options ready for the Expo Richmond show. So, and there's South Georgia Woodmiser, Mr. Joe Main checking in. We're going to be doing some sawing for sure this week. We've got some lumber orders to take care of, and I've got to start sawing some orders for the new kiln build because that's going to come quicker than we want it to. Dennis Rexford is here. Michael Waters said he got the front half of the Woodyard cleaned up, hoping for the back side next week. Well, there you go. Broken Old Swedes here. Charles Wild, Speedy, and there's Craig, the Kilted Sawyer. So I was talking to Craig earlier today, and we were talking about chain and how expensive saw chain is. And I told him what Saw Supplier's price was on saw chain, and he was like, what? No way. Saw Supplier has guaranteed the best online price on Oregon chain, or you will end up with a coupon on them. So if you're looking for saw chain, no matter what you run for Oregon, they have semi-chisel, skip tooth, standard sequence, full chisel. They've got safety chain. They've got all of it. So if you're looking for anything, check out their Oregon prices. If you use Willey 10 in the coupon code, 10% off and free shipping on all your backpack blowers, chainsaws, string trimmers, Echo, Husky, or Steel, and best prices that you'll find around. So anybody looking to buy any of that stuff, Saw Suppliers is definitely your go-to place for that, and they will take right care of everything that you've got going on. Oregon chain, I actually run on my Steels, Coda. So the Oregon chain seems to sharpen a little bit easier. The steel chain, fresh out of the box, will hold an edge longer. But after you've actually sharpened it, definitely don't see too much of a difference at all between the two, except for the cost. The Oregon chain through Saw Suppliers is quite a bit cheaper. And that's all Gramp and I run. We run 50 and 58. I run 50 thousandths. Gramp runs 58 thousandths. And we run it on all of our saws. What did me in for that was I bought a steel chain at a local steel dealer for my 462. They wanted like $43 for a chain. I said, nope, no way. All set with that. So we started running Oregon, and it's made a really, really nice difference. Everything works good. So let's see here. Yep, Michael Waters says he runs the Oregon EXL or EXJ on all of his stuff. So I sharpen a bunch of different ways, Coda, and that's a great question too, because that's one question we get asked a lot, and I'm going to try to get some sharpening videos with Gramp when we've got this batch of logs in. It's going to be a little bit dirtier, so it's going to be just a little bit more sharpening, so hopefully I can get over there and get another video. I did one before and the audio was all messed up, so we're going to try again, but we hand sharpen 90% of the time, but if I myself hit a rock or ground my saw hard, I'll put it on a grinder and I'll go ahead and I'll touch it back up and I'll get it back in shape with a grinder, and then I'll I'll file it by hand to bring it back to sharpen. But there's all kinds of different ways. So one of the things I want to do is I want to show all of you guys how I learned to sharpen when I was first hand sharpening, and then I want to show all of the the other viewers the different ways, whether it be a grinder or a jig, or anything like that. So we're gonna have a bunch of sharpening videos coming up. I am not a professional, but I can make a chain cut and cut well. So we'll go through all of that when we get there. Oh, Kenny's showing up. Firewood Adventures. I watched Kenny's video with his new trailer, and now I think I need to have a trailer like that. That's a sweet little trailer that he's got. Jason from Yadkin Valley and Craig from Craig's Cord to Coles are stopping in. Trisk Biscuit. Hey, how's it going, buddy? Good to see you. Yeah, Oregon, the LGX chain was really good. Iffy Kid's absolutely right. Jim's right. The LGX chain was our favorite. We ran Carlton for a lot of years and had really good luck with Carlton chain too, but don't know. It's just, you've got very few options now. Yep, so Coda Bear, if you struggle with hand sharpening, I'm going to show everybody how I got to be good with hand sharpening. And one thing to note is it takes time, it takes practice, but once you get the hang of it, it's quick. You can really pick up on it. I'm nowhere near as good as Grant, but I can still make my chains sharp and do whatever I need to do and go from there. The 2-in-1 sharpeners are really nice. But what I really like to learn how to hand file is a Grandberg jig. It mounts to your bar. Every tooth's the same. You start getting that muscle memory. Once that muscle memory goes in, then you can kind of figure it out from there. And then I like to use a top plate file guide. A lot of guys don't like them. I like them because I have a tendency to go too deep in the tooth, and I know that. So the file guide keeps me where I need to be. But if I'm just like out in the woods, I carry just round file. Ah, there you go, Biscuit. He's got the sawdust bug. Once you get started, it'll catch you quick. Mike from Lake Ontario Firewood's here. How you doing, buddy? If you can make a halfway decent cutting corner, raker height becomes key. Yep. Raker height is what will keep your saw pulling and doing what it needs to do. Biggest thing is sharpen frequently. Don't let it get to the point that it's too dull. If you sharpen more frequently, it's going to be a lot easier to keep up with and keep it sharp. So there's K-Train. Kevin Violet just popped in. And Daniel Atkins from the SOL department is here as well. So looks like we're getting most of the gang here. But sharpening is something that I've seen tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of videos, and everybody does it a little bit different. We do it different than some other people, but a good sharp file is what makes the biggest difference when you're learning to sharpen. Don't try to sharpen with a dull file. Take and make sure you've got a good sharp file. Take your time, pay attention to the witness marks on the chain, and just be deliberate. Don't just go willy-nilly and have the file everywhere. Be deliberate. Use your line of sight. Get yourself positioned so that you're comfortable, so that you have good control of your file, so you're not feeling like you're tipping or leaning or anything like that. Just take your time. But if you cannot hand sharpen or you struggle to hand sharpen, you can buy a grinder, a fairly cheap grinder that will still do a decent job and get you a sharp chain with repeatable results. The biggest thing with a grinder is not to get the tooth hot. If you get the tooth too hot, then you're done. Oh, Scott and Ann got a little cleanup of the sugar shack, and then it's Woodyard time. There you go. Dirt Road Landing, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. No, Duke's chain price wise, Jim, you're absolutely right. Duke's chain is pretty good. I thought about buying some to try it, but if I show Gramp a different box, he's probably not gonna like it. Gramp's pretty stuck in his ways with what he likes to use, so I don't switch it up on him too much. Dirt Road Landing, the Shindawa 600 that we have is stock. So that's the different stock to the 590 in that video, if that's what you're referring to. The 600SX and the Echo 620, I still to this day will tell you is the best value in firewood for a chainsaw. They're not fancy, there's no electronics, they're just a good old-fashioned chainsaw, and you can just go ahead and run them. They start and run super, and they're really, really dependable saws. We really, really like our Echo and Shindawa saws. Uncle V says, do you ever notice that some of the teeth are shorter than the others out of the box? Not so much that, but I do notice that some chains are nowhere near as sharp as others out of the box. For a long time, Gramp would sharpen them before you ever put them in wood. Now he will run them out of the box for a little bit. If they're not up to his liking, he'll just set the saw down, he'll bring it home, he'll sharpen it, he'll try again the next day. Gramp doesn't like to mess with a dull saw until it's the end of the day or he's trying to finish a tank. If he's trying to finish a tank of fuel, he'll push and lean on a saw a little harder than he probably should to get that last little bit done, and then bring it home and sharpen. But I'll tell you right now, if you grab one of Gramp's saws, the thing absolutely eats in the wood. You've got to kind of almost hold him back a little bit, but he likes to lay on his saw. He pushes. He doesn't want to wait, so just goes after it for sure. I saw Dick from Old Guy Firewood. He popped in here. How you doing, Dick? Good to see you. Oh, let's see. Oh, Davy's Logging's here. Scott and Ann made 100 gallons in their final year. Sounds like maple syrup is no longer for Wise Choice Firewood. Jim, I'd reuse the Oregon boxes, but his eyesight's still good enough. If I reuse the Oregon boxes, he's going to be able to tell by looking at the chain. So, easy money, Davy in the house. Mike says he ran a couple of Dukes on his saws, no issues as long as you keep them out of the dirt. Well, that's kind of the same thing with most chains. You keep them out of the dirt, and they do pretty good. Jeremiah, outdoor in the 608. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. You guys are getting ahead of me. I'm behind in the chat. I'm working on it. Connor McCrae's here. How you doing, Connor? Connor's checking in from all the way across the pond. Everything is for sale, says Scott and Ann. So if anybody's looking for maple syrup gear, Wise Choice Firewood, sounds like that's the place to check it out. Oregon chain, a roll, when I priced it out with Craig earlier for full chisel standard sequence was $378 for a 100-foot roll through saw suppliers. So not a bad price. The 2-in-1's decent. I've not used the 2-in-1 a whole lot, Davey. Mostly because Gramp's pretty set in a round file. We use the preferred files and they seem to work good. I like to have my plate on my file guide plate on top. I use that. I like it a little bit better. Yeah. Grinder is nice when you ground them hard, though, but you don't have a grinder out in the woods, so unless you're going to have extra saws and all that stuff, you're going to have to learn to hand sharpen. Someone had a new hat on a post on YouTube, and I can't remember who it was. That was probably the United by Sawdust hat that Bracken from Frontier Firewood had out. So all of the guys that have participated in the United by Sawdust, he had a hat made with a nice patch on it. I've got some coming, one for me, one for Kevin, and one to hang up. And they came out well. Yeah, the 2-in-1s, we don't use the 2-in-1s very often, that's for sure. Skip tooth always sharpens faster. You gotta like that. Trapper J Outdoors, how you doing? Good to see you, bud. Yeah, a good file, Jason from Yadkin Valley is absolutely right. A good file is where it's at. A cheap file will not get you very far. Uncle V says, if you break off one tooth off a chain, is it still okay to use the chain? As long as it didn't bend it, it will still cut. It may be a little bit funny, but it'll still cut. They're made to have the teeth on there, but if you look at like the Echo chains, they've got 2 teeth on one side where the chain comes together for the 70 drive link chains, so you can take a tooth off and still be okay. It's just if it bends that chain or if it kicks the link out to the side so that it hits. But as long as it's just broke off and gone, one's not going to be bad. Yeah, if you bought the stuff, Davey, you could probably make your own chains quite a bit cheaper. The prices at Saw Supplier for the rolls of chain are really decent, so. Old Guy Firewood says he likes Volabear files. Not heard of those. I'll have to check that. I'll have to look at that. Jake Rogers did a video cutting one tooth off at a time until one tooth remained. Yep. And I also saw a video where somebody took the rakers completely off a chain and cutting down through, no problem. But when you go to cut up through without a raker on there, hang on. So you can definitely mess with your chains and play and find what works. And Craig's right. There's 19 likes on this and a bunch of people in here, so we need more likes on the on the live for sure. And he says rakers are important. 90% of your filing, once you get your tooth sharp, your raker determines the rest of the cut and how that saw is going to pull and run. And it's just it's so important to keep your rakers adjusted right and to find what you like. So when you've got a raker and you find your setting, using a raker gauge is fine. But like when we're in the firewood pile and we're cutting hardwood, we'll usually go a swipe or maybe even 2 below what that raker gauge should be for that tooth. And we just kind of play it by feel. Kenny from Firewood Adventures says, wait until Davey finds out the Husky power is ripping steel chains off. Yeah, Kenny ripped the tooth right off on his saw, so he's got a Husqvarna that's ready to go. So here's the other thing is if you have a steel chainsaw, you do not have to run a steel chain on a steel chainsaw. You can still run Oregon chain if you want. So it all goes back to what you like, what you're comfortable with, and what you can get for prices and all of that stuff. Yes, Dirt Road Landing says, so to recap, on a raker, the soft setting takes more off the raker compared to the hard setting. So with a lower raker in hardwood, it's going to pull harder. You can pull a lower raker in softwood easier because the wood is softer. But the biggest thing is to just find what works for you. Everybody cuts differently, but if the saw is sharpened correctly, Buck and Billy Ray has done tons and tons and tons of videos, and a bunch of other guys have done a bunch of other videos too. You can pull the throttle and the saw should pull itself down through without bogging or fetching or pulling. But again, it's all personal preference and how you want your saw to cut and run. Let's see here. Tom's Firewood, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Yep, cutting down through, bucking, you can drop your rakers pretty low, just like Mike Waters said. It's when you go to upcut through that if those rakers are set too low, you want to hang on. That's when it gets dangerous. Trapper J Outdoors says, I'm just a firewood hoarder. Don't sell any, just burn my own, but addicted to watching all the different firewood channels. Well, we're glad to have you, and you're more than welcome. This is the Woodhound community, and we all kind of get together, and Wednesday and Sunday night we hop on here and we just all kind of chit chat. Tonight it sounds like it's chains and sharpening that seems to be the big thing. So yep, it does depend on how heavy handed you are when you're filing, Bill. 100%. Coda Bear, if you buy chains from Saw Supplier, they have a 3-chain deal where if you buy 3 chains or more you get $5 off, and it's free shipping, so you never have to pay shipping for your orders. So put in Willey 10. It keeps track of the people that I send to them. I don't make anything off the chains or any of the accessories or anything like that, but it's good to see where the sales are coming from. So Buckin is a great guy to show sharpening. Davey's done some sharpening videos. I've seen sharpening videos from Bert's Custom Cuts. I've seen sharpening videos from just about every YouTube channel out there. Again, it's personal preference. It's what you're used to. It's what you like, and just kind of paying attention to what you're doing. Michael Waters says the Valor Bear seemed to cut faster, but the Ferd seemed to last longer. There you go. Dirt Road Landing's a firewood hoarder too. Looks like we've got a bunch of firewood hoarders. That's not a bad thing. Coda Bear says bought a skip tooth steel chain earlier and got hit up. Yeah, that was what did me in, is when I went to go to my local steel dealer and I bought a steel chain and I said, nope, no more. Back to Oregon we go. Yep. Billy Bob's Wood files his raker so that the saw does the work. That's the whole thing. If it's set up right, you'd be all set. Prescott says he doesn't hardly use his fireplace insert too, but he likes watching all the people. That's the whole thing. The Woodhound community is really, really awesome. It's just a really great group of people. And Davey says he's got another sharpening video he wants to upload, but 902 would be relentless. That's all right. Sometimes we got to have somebody to bug us a little bit. I like some of the guys that bug on the channel. I actually look forward to it a little bit. So Saw Supplier, I have not found anybody that will really touch their prices. They do a really good job with their prices. Old Guy Firewood says he does most of his sharpening with a Dremel. Now, do you use a diamond bit or are you using the Oregon bits? Because I know with a diamond bit, or a zirconia bit, it doesn't heat the tooth up as much. Yep. Using a stump when you're in the woods. So the way Grant taught me is to cut a spot to hold the dogs of the saw and then set that in there to steady your saw and then go back and forth and sharpen that way. Yeah, we use a little more two-stroke mix than most. The firewood pile uses a lot of gas. Gas, we're using super unleaded. We use ethanol fuel in our chainsaws because they don't sit. None of our saws ever sit for more than a week at most before they're run again. So we use ethanol fuel, super unleaded, and we use Echo Red Armor oil in all of our saws. Does not matter what it is, it's Echo Red Armor for everything. 40 to 1 too. We mix it all 40 to 1. Davey said it too. He likes the community. So Old Guy Firewood, Dick, if you look, they sell diamond stones that are not supposed to heat that tooth up and get them red. And it's supposed to sharpen a little bit quicker too. So that might be something to look into. I've not tried them. I don't use a Dremel. So just what I heard. I saw it on somebody's YouTube channel. I can't remember whose. But I thought it was pretty interesting. Ooh, Fleet Farm. Got a coupon. So Fleet Farm had a better price than Saw Supplier. That's the other thing. If you find a better price, Saw Supplier will give you a coupon because they're trying to be the best price on Oregon chain online. So Benny's Firewood, appreciate it. I just, when I started the whole YouTube thing, it wasn't for firewood and it wasn't for the business side of what we're doing. It was, we had bought 40 acres and I wanted to kind of capture what we were going to do with the 40 acres. Well, fast forward 2 years, life changed, everything happened, and we ended up with a completely different house on a different 46 acres. And we're just trying to do stuff a little bit different, but everybody started liking the firewood videos and watching what we were doing. So I just try to bring people to work with us every day. I am going to try to do a little more educational videos. But I just like showing you guys what we're doing. I don't claim to be right, and I don't claim to have the the best way of doing it, but I've got what works for us. We've done firewood for a long time. And I don't care whose equipment you're running or whose equipment you want to buy. There is so much great equipment out there. There's not a bad machine on the commercial market. I don't really care. Same thing with chainsaws. Husky, Echo, Steel, Dolmar, whatever works for you and you're happy with, go for it. Davey wants to know if I missed my 562. No, I do not. Not one bit. That 562 is probably the most disappointing chainsaw I've bought in a long time. I don't know. I was really looking forward to that 562, hoping that it was better than previous. And no. 562 is not my saw, that's for sure. Yep, yes, Yadkin said it. If you get the tooth blue, too hot, won't hold an edge, you're all done. Buck Your Saws is here. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. All right, see you, Kenny. Tell Mom we said hey. Government is talking about keeping E85 at the pump until September. Yikes. Yeah, those 79cc Dolmars. So here's the thing, Mike. If you can find a 6400, the 6400 is the same bottom end as the 7900. You can pull the cylinder and jug off and put the cylinder and jug of a 7900 on there. Change your carburetor, and now you got the bigger saw. Broken Old Swede, there is nothing wrong with supporting local business, especially if it's easier for you. The only reason that I do a lot of business with Saw Supplier and with some of the other companies is because we are using such a volume that if I can save $4, $5, $6 a chain, something like that, makes a huge difference. Speedy says, do you still own the 40 acres? You should start another woodyard there for when the roads are posted. Yes. So that is not on a posted road. One of the things that we are going to do is we are going to try to get a road in there for a tractor trailer and a turnaround. It's pretty steep coming up out, and the camera will never do it justice, but we're going to try to do any modifications that we can to that road this summer and try to get a little yard. There's already a pretty flat yard down at the other end poked in there. Put some drainage and stuff in so that hopefully we can have a second wood yard for mud season. And that's what we'll use it for, as a pile down yard for mud season. So that was an excellent idea and question, Speedy. Charles Wilds and Yadkin both want to know how I'm making out on the chainsaw gear. So I've talked to Clogger, I've talked to Arbor Tech, I've talked to Arbor Wear, and I've talked to Labinville. And I'm going to go back and forth with them on some emails, see what we can get, if anything, for a discount code for everybody to use. And Coda Bear, I'm shaped just like you are, buddy. He said, what about the fat guys? They all told me they have pants that will fit us. So we'll see. I'm working on that. Craig from the Kilted Sawyer, he's got some boots that he mentioned to me that are chainsaw rated that we may try. Another fella that I met at the show in Parsons, Tennessee, he sent me a link for SWAT team ballistic grade safety glasses that are U.S. made. So we're gonna get working on that. Hikes boots. That's what it was, Craig. I drew a blank. I've seen them and talked about them a million times, but I couldn't remember the name. So Hikes boots. And we're also, I think, with the way that we do things, even though it's more expensive, I want to look at the Protos helmets with the intercom. Kevin's hard of hearing, and so is Dave. So even without earplugs, if I yell at them, they don't hear. But yeah, it's I think the Protos helmets with the comms system in it would be really nice. And I'm hoping somehow there's a way to link that comm system to the video so that while we're talking and doing what we're doing, it will feed to the video as well. But we'll have to wait and see. We'll play around with that. The PPE gear is not cheap, but it's a whole lot cheaper than a trip to the emergency room. And again, even though I'm not the best at safety, I need to do better. I need to do better, and I need to set a better example for those that are watching me. We're all products of our environment. If somebody sees somebody doing something the wrong way, they're going to think that the wrong way is the right way. And the last thing in the world I would want is for somebody to watch me and think, well, he never has his chaps on, or he never has safety glasses on, or hearing protection, so I don't need it either. It's not that you have to have it, or it's not that it's necessary to do it. It's an added safety precaution. Anything that you can do to eliminate some of the risk is a help. So Boomer Eyewear, yes, that's what it was, Craig. Absolutely. Yep, you're absolutely right, Coda. That one accident is all that it takes, and then it's not fun anymore. Bags, I am told, will be available out of customs by Tuesday or Wednesday at the latest. They had some stuff to clear up with that, so we will have the bags this week, and we'll get all of those set up and get that taken care of. Larry Terrell just showed up, said he's running late. You're not running late. We're still here. I've told everybody when they show up, there's no such thing as showing up late. So, but yeah, the bags should be here this week. I used up some of the last of the red bags that we have. I need bags really bad too. I got a lot of bagged firewood orders coming up, and I need the bags to come this week so that I can start getting orders out. We've got some new... Ow, the cat is digging me. Oh. Ow. Got some new accounts for bagged firewood that we've got to get taken care of and delivered this week. So we'll bring you along for that and get that stuff done. But we did 25 bags on Friday to one of the stores, and then another 60 bags today, and they want more bags after that too. So it'll be boogieing right along. So bags are on their way. 16,000 of them in this batch. So hey, have a good one, Scott and Ann. Appreciate you guys stopping by. So we will have bags soon, and we'll be shipping them out. As soon as I get the first batch, I'm ordering a second batch because I know they're going to go quick. So if you guys are wanting and needing bags, we'll get you taken care of just as quick as we get them here, I promise. And I am going to have a couple of different sizes and do all of that stuff as well. Let's see. Just looking through comments here. That is a lot of bags, but it's not that many when you start getting a bunch of guys that want 500 or 1,000 bags at a whack. They'll go quick. So, like I said, we're gonna get one batch in, get another batch coming, and hopefully try to hold an inventory here of about 16,000 once we get settled in and situated. I'm figuring right now with what we've got for stuff coming this summer and continuing through the year, I'm going to be using somewhere in the neighborhood of 3,000 to 4,000 of those bags a year myself. So bag firewood's picking up, and again, until we get the kiln going, I'm behind. I got some more seasoned firewood that's 3 years old, 4 to 6 cords worth in a basement that we're going to go get this week, and get that brought home and taken care of. We got a restaurant delivery first thing early tomorrow morning. All kinds of stuff going on. The all wood's broke, and I've got a cylinder to fix on the all wood, so I'll bring you guys along for that. One of the things with the spinning wedge is you've got to be careful when you go putting it down. One of the real cold mornings that we had, went to put it down and broke the cylinder that picks the wedge up and down, so we will get taken care of that and get that fixed. Bobby got another one out to us right away, so that was good. We'll get that addressed and taken care of. But it's it's a never-ending list of things that need to be done. The Woodyard is soft right now. It's wet. It's not as bad as it was. The water is going down. We are starting to dry out some, so that's pretty good. But I lost 2 restaurants this week. Not of any fault of my own. The owners of the restaurant are closing them due to some legislative issues that have come up from a new bill or law that has been passed in our state. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully they can get it sorted and get them open back up. But for right now, we lost a couple of restaurants, so that'll free up a little bit of time, which good and bad all at the same time, because you hate to lose any business, but at the same point in time, we're so busy, it's hard to keep up. So Coda asked if I've had any other problems with the all-wood. Not one. Got that January of last year. We have run a pile of wood through it. I've traveled all over the country with it, and we've split just about every type of wood I can throw at it. And other than breaking that cylinder, not a one issue, none. I thought that I lost the engine in it when we went to Hope. Had a real loud tick and valve noise, and best I can tell, a bad oil filter. We changed the oil and filter, noise went away, never had that noise or issue again. But the last year that we went to Hope before that, my other machine, I don't know if it was from bouncing down the road all that way or whatever it was, but started it up, and I mean, we smoked and fogged out half the group there for half an hour until it came out of it. But it's all right. We made it pretty good. Beech does not dry fast, Uncle V. It's excellent firewood though, so it's one of the best firewoods for real cold nights. So definitely good to get it split early. Coda, I would say on our all wood, I've probably got somewhere around between 800 and 1,000 hours, somewhere in there, if I had to guess. And like my wife just said when she walked by, it is still for sale. We've got some other splitters coming, all wood and other manufacturers too. We've got some splitters coming, so we're gonna be doing some stuff different with splitters. We're gonna try to streamline our process a little bit for the yard where we hand cut with Gramp, and we got a bunch of cool stuff coming, so it'll be fun. Mike, I will get those to you tomorrow, I promise. You've got time to help me with that right now too, so we'll put you to work. But the Allwood's an excellent machine. Most of the guys that have come looked at it were a little intimidated with how quick it is. It is a fast splitter, but it does a good job. I think I'm going to kick myself for getting rid of it no matter what I end up with, just because of the fact that it's so quick. Even doing the resplitting and things like that, it's a fast machine, and I'm used to having that speed there. I'm used to being able to do all of that, but you know, it's it's just one of those deals. I want to do something different. One of the things I want to do is I want to keep moving new products in and out of the Woodyard. So that'll help us do that. And just had a couple of other guys pop in. Jacqueline Dower is here, and so is Brian from Shotliff Family Firewood. So I've seen some things in the firewood market that are coming out and new products that are really, really interesting to me. One of them is the Hahn firewood processor, the new high-speed one that they've got coming out. And I still think one of the most unique splitters out there that, you know, a lot of guys don't really look at is the Split Force self-propelled splitters. It's so nice to be able to just drive your wood splitter right to the wood pile. I mean, that you can't get any easier than that. So I thought that those were really neat, and I've always wanted to have a self-propelled splitter, and I don't know why nobody's done a horizontal self-propelled splitter, because if you could just drive your splitter to the wood, it's really, really nice. Coda, if that's something you're looking at, shoot me a message. I might be able to help you with that. So it's there's I saw a grapple saw with an indexer to index 16-inch firewood for an excavator. I've seen the ones for the skid steers, but this one on an excavator with a 27-inch cut capacity. So for the guys that have the hoppers, you can hold the log right over and cut right into the hopper, and you never have to get out, pick a chainsaw up or anything. The excavator will do it for you. So if you have an excavator, that's an excellent attachment. There's so many different things coming out and innovative ways to do firewood that it's really, really cool to see just what everybody is doing. I'm hearing rumors through the grapevine that Yellow and Green out of Canada may have something new coming in the splitter market. So we'll see what that is. Maybe at the Richmond show, maybe not. Still not 100% sure. If anybody is looking for an M18 Cord King processor, my rental unit will be at Richmond. It is for sale, or would be for sale. So it's if you're looking for one, you don't want to wait, you want to save some freight, shoot me a message, let me know. I can get you a price. It has roughly 300-ish hours on it, somewhere in that neighborhood. I've got all the bugs and kinks worked out. We're running it fairly regular, and really, really cool. So Bill says Rima's making one. I had not seen Rima's. This one was green and black, I believe. I don't even remember the name. I just shared it with somebody online. It's in my messenger. I could find it later on. One of the other things I'm going to do is we're going to have a laptop. So I'll be doing this off a laptop so I can have my phone, because there's lots of times I'd like to be able to find something on my phone, but I use it when we do the lives. So I'm going to get a laptop so we can do the lives on the laptop, and I can have my phone to help better interact and follow along with everything, and do all of that stuff too. So it's pretty interesting. My wife says we're going to have a whole little office set up, because my wife and I, we're going to be doing a podcast as well, to talk about the difference between blue collar and white collar, and kind of small business and how it all works. It's two different ends of the spectrum when you look at healthcare and firewood and forestry stuff. So,
but we're both successful.
Yeah, we're both successful, and we make it work. So yeah, there's I don't know. I really get excited whenever new stuff comes out. I mean, you've always got small improvements to the machines that are already existing and things like that, but anytime somebody comes out with something new, that's what gets me all excited. Woodland Mills, I saw they have a hydraulic log loader for their sawmills now. I got tagged in a post about that. Having a full hydraulic setup on a little smaller hobby mill like that is really nice for the guys that are trying to get into it but don't want to spend the money on a full hydraulic. So yeah, Broken Old Swede. The Chomper was one of the firewood processors I wanted first when I first started looking at firewood processors, because of the research that they did. They said the sheared firewood instead of cut firewood dried almost 25% faster. There's no sawdust, so there's less waste. It's just
No, man.
really, really cool to see all the different ways. But Rainier Hydraulics, they went out and they stopped making them, unfortunately. CRD Metalworks is another one that that does really well too. Josh and Janice, give me the details. I very well may. So the chomper was actually fully automatic when you got the big one. It cuts halfway through, pushes through the splitter, and then continues to shear off the rest. The fully automatic one would complete the cut and split cycle until the log was gone, and you could be pulling the next log in and butt it right to it. And it could actually grab that log and go. So it never stopped if you could keep it going. Phil from Allen Family Firewood, I believe it's his cousin Lyle, has one. And they go up to his place once in a while. And they did a couple of videos. And I mean, the thing just chews wood. So Allen Family Firewood, if you look, they've got a video on the chomper from Rainier. Really cool processor. CRD Metalworks is another one that's no longer around. CRD Metalworks, their processors were always one of the fastest ones around. Pretty simple machine, stout and robust. Had some wedge issues with them, but there's a guy that's making wedges for him still today, and I think he's got the bugs worked out of it. People don't realize how particular you have to be with a wedge on a commercial splitter or a processor, and how hard wood is to handle all the time, day in, day out, and the different variables. There's a lot of work that goes into designing and making a wedge. Send me some details, Mike. Send me some details. Oh, Squatch Firewood is a REMA dealer, according to Lake Ontario Firewood. That's cool. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, there's a couple of chompers for sale in New England. One of them's the Simple 14, which is a small one. And one of the other ones was one of the big fully automatic ones with the big John Deere diesel. I don't know if the big one's still for sale. I know the small one is. Don't know what they were asking for them. They're on Marketplace. One was in Vermont, and I want to say the other one was in upstate Maine, somewhere up in Aroostook County. But they are around, and they're still around. The problem is getting parts and service for them. If you're not handy and you can't do your own machine and welding work, it's probably not the machine to go after for you, just for the simple fact that you can't call up and get parts for them. So, but bag update on the blue bags that we're going to be selling. The test bag I did after Bunyan is still full of kindling out in the woodyard. It's been buried in snow all winter long, out in the sun, uncovered, re-snowed on, froze, re-snowed on. I picked it up today. It's not really all that faded. Threw it on the ground 3 or 4 times. Still holding together just fine. Now I can tell you right now, if that was a bag from Northern Woodsman like the ones I've been using right now, there would be no bag to pick up and it would be gone. So I think these new bags are going to really work out well for the guys that want to try to bag ahead. I'm thinking that you could probably almost bag your wood green in them and let them season if you stacked them in a single row. I think it would probably season. I don't know that for sure yet, but Jason from Yadkin Valley says he's not handsome, so he's got to be handy. Well, you got to do what you got to do, brother. I mean, we only got what we got to work with, and that's it. BW35 said he tried to modify a wedge, and it's back to the drawing board. So one of the things that you need to think about when you're doing your wedges is your relief angle on the back of the blades. You cannot push straight through because wood wants to expand and flare out when you split it. So there has to be relief angles on those wedges. If you don't have relief angles, you're going to create pinch points, and that's when things get interesting. You pinch wood too hard and then try to push another piece of wood. Now you've made a wooden rocket. So it's really, there's a lot to it. So Craig, we're going to have different colored bags eventually. When we start, you're going to have your option of blue, blue, or blue. Once we get going, and I see how this works, we've got blue, yellow, and purple, and possibly a red. But they don't like red because red absorbs too much UV. But blue, yellow, and purple will be the three options that we will end up with. And I'm hoping by the time Bunyan rolls around, we'll have all three options. But I got to put out a fair amount of greenbacks to get all this stuff moving. So I'm trying to really limit my exposure until I see how well these things sell through and how they're going to work. But I think if everything goes to plan, this is going to be a really good thing for sure. Wayne Bishko wants to know, how is this unsettled weather for the next week going to limit our abilities? Very dearly. Very dearly. So it's we work around the weather. You can't be afraid of the weather for sure if you're going to do this kind of work. So we'll probably end up working some in the rain. But the problem is the ground's not froze anymore and it still hasn't stiffened up. So we're gonna have some workarounds that we're gonna have to look at. We're gonna have to look at where we're delivering, how much they're wanting, what we can haul, and kind of try to make a plan. But I'm hoping that we can get 3 to 4 days this week. And if we got to do a little bit of work on the weekend, then we'll do what we need to do. But it's not this weekend. Next weekend, my wife and I were headed to San Diego. When we get back from San Diego, I'm home for 3 days. I turn around and go right to Virginia, and I'm going to be in Virginia for a couple of weeks, and then to Vermont before I come home. So we're going to go to the Northeast Loggers Expo in Vermont, and then from there back home. So I'm going to have a lot of traveling, a lot of going on, and a lot of stuff to do. The Cord King is going to go into the shop on Wednesday or Thursday, and we're going to clean it up, do some maintenance, do some touch-up painting, try to get it prettied up for the show, and go through all that. We'll change the oil and the filters, check all the fluids, grease everything, go through everything, and we're gonna hammer and see what we can do. But I got to tell you, the more that we run that Cord King for a little gas-powered processor, I put some nasty wood through that thing. Wood that I would not have put through my Bell's processor when I had it, because I know it would have jammed it or I would have had issues. And I only jammed the Cord King one time, and I knew what piece was going to do it, but I tried it anyway. I thought I was recording when I was running that log. I had an oak and a yellow birch log that were nothing but knots. I mean, just ugly. Made terrible firewood, but the logs had to get used somehow, so we put them through the processor, and it did it, but boy, it wasn't happy about it. But no real issue other than that one piece of yellow birch. So really, really pleased with the way that runs. And it's fairly efficient. If you can keep your wood the right size, it's nice. It's really nice. Ed and the gang had the Dyna out running today. That's awesome. Glowing Firewood, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Free Fall Firewood, new channel out. Free Fall Firewood, trying to get them to 50 subscribers. Oh, there you go, another one for me to check out. Coda Bear, I don't stop very much, that's for sure, buddy. I stay busy. We've got a lot going. Some of you may have received an invite to a new page on Facebook. Kind of keeping that quiet for the time being until we get really ready to roll with it. But there's some new stuff coming. So we're gonna have all kinds of new stuff popping up. There's little Joe, Dirt Money Firewood. How you doing, brother? Joe and Nikki probably, because Nikki's there, I'm sure. So we got new stuff coming, and everything that we're doing is trying to get all of you guys better deals, better honest equipment, all of that stuff, so that you know when you're going to look at something. I'm not going to tell you guys something's good if it's not. If I'm having issues with it, I'm going to show you what I'm having issues with. If I don't like something, I'm going to show you what I don't like about it or how we can change it. And Cord King's been really, really good to work with that way. They've been very receptive to any of the any of the changes and things that we would like to see with the machines. So, oh, I missed some. Have a good one, Wayne. Appreciate you stopping by. Yep, 5 degrees, 5 to 7 degrees, Bill. Sometimes 7 works a little better depending on what you're using for wedge. Glowing Firewood says, how much cords of wood do you think you sold so far this year? Oh, we're probably at 200 or so, maybe a bit more, somewhere in there. Tex RC, how you going? Stock show this week. Been wearing your hats around, so lots of compliments on them. Aha, the pinky right here, this is a wood splitter. So this is what happens when you put your finger where it doesn't belong. No, it wasn't that. I had a block of wood, had ice on both ends. When it came under pressure in the splitter, it came up at my face. I put my hand up to block it. When I did, it slapped my hand down off the wedge, and bye-bye pinky. Happened in the blink of an eye. Was not much fun. Matt, Firewood in the field. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Oh, Matt was running the Frontier Fury 7310. So that's the United by Sawdust saw. What'd you think of it? Yeah, Tex, I get compliments on your hats everywhere I go. I lost one of them. Dave's got one. He spied it in my truck and thought it was one of the ones I got from the show. He claimed that one for him, but I got the blue one still. I like the blue one better anyway. So, but we share hats. I share hats with Kevin and Dave and all of those guys. So whenever I go to the shows and I come home with new hats, they all check out what I got, and everybody gets some hats. And I've got a collection and a half. My wife's really proud of my hat collection. It's usually strewn all over the house, so do what we got to do. Tex, do you wholesale those seasonings that you sent me? If you do, send me a link. I've got a place that may be interested in carrying those up here in Maine, if that's something that you do. I've not seen your package yet, Prescott. Not sure. I got the first one, but I haven't seen the other one. Robert Cox, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. So I've not seen it yet, but if it shows up and when it shows up, I will be sure to let you know. Josh and Janice Leach are working on a project for us, couple projects for us right now. I should have some Willey's Firewood hats soon, so that'll be kind of cool. We've been working on that for a while, and we'll have those for sale pretty soon, hopefully. So that'll be a good thing. Yeah, I didn't get a package or anything in the mail, did I, hon?
Not that I've seen.
No, not yet. I'll check the package barrel in the morning too. I will do that, Mike. Mike was one of the first ones that asked for hats way back, but it's pretty cool. Oregon fan of chains here, but I do love my steel bars. Steel bar will take an Oregon chain though, so that's okay. I run Oregon chains on all my steels. I've only got one, so it's not hard to run it on all my steels. But we run Oregon chains on everything that we got. Echo, Husky, steel. We like Oregon here. So, saw supplier too if you're going to make your own chains, or even if you want to buy pre-made loops. Not hard to get them any cheaper because they guarantee that it's the cheapest, or they'll give you a coupon. So you got nothing to lose. Check out the price. If it's not the cheapest price you can get, then off you go. Yep, glowing Firewood. It's good to swap hats or shirts or whatever when you can. That's for sure. Steel light bars on a Husky. I got a guy up here that does it. He said it's the only thing that makes the Husqvarna saw run right. I don't know. They're all nice when they run. They're all nice when they're sharp. If they're not sharp and they're not running right, it really doesn't matter. So just one of those deals. But I went to my dad's house today. I cleaned our chimney for the wood stove behind us, and we got the chimney cleaned, and 6.5 to 7 full cords of firewood. I bet I got enough creosote to fill this little flower pot right here out of about 32 feet worth of chimney. So it was burning really clean for the most part. So that much firewood and that little bit of creosote, I'm happy with it. Especially considering that when my in-laws help us fill the wood stove, the air control on the front usually gets shut down pretty tight. So it's not burning, it's kind of smoldering instead. So good thing the wood's good and dry, because that'll dirty a chimney up quick. Yeah, Saw Supplier is a no-brainer for a lot of stuff. They do a good job. I've not had a complaint at all with my stuff. I know that there's been some customers of mine that they didn't have the saw that they ordered. They offered them upgrades for not a whole lot of extra money at all. I know, yeah, Matt just said right there, and that's what I was going to mention. Matt's one of the only ones that I've seen that's had a bad experience with Saw Supplier. If you don't get a response, Matt, let me know, and I will see if I can get it taken care of, because if I'm referring somebody and doing that stuff, I want to try to make sure that that all gets taken care of if possible. So if you don't hear back from them, please let me know, and I will convey the message along. I know Saw Supplier next year is looking to go to some of the trade shows, starting with Bunyan, I believe. So they will be going to some of the trade shows. They'll have tents and booths there, and I'm sure they will extend their great prices right through there as well. So it'll be really cool to see what they have for show specials and things like that. Josh and Janice just put my discount code on there for Saw Supplier. So yep, and Glowing Firewood 50, he's got the hard-working man code there too. They do know their products, and the one thing I will say about Steve that I really like is if there is something on an outdoor power sports offering somewhere else, doesn't matter where, and you say, I really would like to have this, he'll find it and he'll get it for you. Steve's always looking to add new products. He's always looking to help. So they're really good about getting new stuff and making sure that they're staying current. So it's interesting. There's so much that goes to running a business. I mean, with the social media stuff, the firewood, the sawmill, the vehicles, all that stuff, it's crazy what goes into running a business, and it's not for the weak, that's for sure. It would be so much easier for me to go punch a time clock somewhere and just be an employee, but I'm not built that way. I've done it. I could do it again if I had to, but it's just, that's not me. So I don't know. It is what it is. We're going to just plug our way and work our way through it. No stove check yet, but we can. You hang on. So we've been burning some pretty well seasoned ash and oak, and it hasn't been filled for a while, so probably be some very few coals left in here. It's pretty, looks like it's out, but I can tell you right now there's some coals in there still. There's enough to get a fire going. We'll rake the coals forward and throw a couple pieces in there, and this is Craig's favorite part. Craig always likes to see what everybody else is burning, so we do this for Craig, and Craig scored the coals. So this is all ash that we're going to be putting into the stove. You can see there's some hot coals there, but this is all short ash, split fairly small. Everybody likes a good piece of ash. And we'll just let that sit for a minute and that'll get going. I'll move my chair back and Amanda Peckham, I'm sure that's Dave. There is way too many times that we should thank our wives for having to put up with us and our crazy ideas for what we do in this industry, in this business. That's for sure. James Lacey made it for the tail end. Ash is cash, for sure. This stuff is 2 years old, but it's got some moisture in it. Oh, Jason's been burning pine. Pine's fine, long as it's dry, Jason. There's nothing wrong with pine. I can hear the moisture in that stuff. But it's dry. I can guarantee it's seasoned. Yeah. Hard-working woman looks a little better loading it. I could probably have my wife come load the wood stove, but she's busy working. She makes more money than I do. We'll let her keep working. Yep. So Craig the Kilted Sawyer, he and his wife and my wife, they kind of have the same title in our phones. So it's really interesting to see that we're so far away, but we're really not we're not all that different. It's starting to smoke. They say where there's smoke, there's fire. I expect to see a flame pretty soon. So, but again, it's warm out, so it's not drawing a huge draft, but it'll light and go. It's starting to smoke pretty good now, so just be a minute. So this ash has been a year or better at least, but we leave it in an open sided woodshed. It does get some moisture and it sits in the shade, but there you go. So porch Friday at 4:23. I will see if my in-laws got it and see if they have my package. So I will track that down in the morning. There's 2 houses here, so we'll see if they ended up with the package. Yep, birds of a feather flock together. I think we all have a little too much sawdust in our washing machines and dryers, and I think we all have too many chainsaws, but everybody would tell you the right number of chainsaws is always more. We probably all have too many things kicking around, but I mean, that's clean. Once it lit, that's a clean fire. There's nothing wrong with that at all. It's just, it doesn't matter what we burn, where we are, all of that stuff. We all do the same thing, just a little bit different. And what's right for me may not be right for somebody else, but it's all that stuff. All right, well, I'll track it down, and if it's there, I will take care of it for sure. Hey, have a good one. Appreciate you too. It's nice to just sit by the fire and listen to it. There's something about a fire. It just resets everything, and I don't know. Really cool. Jason, you never have enough saws, brother. You're always buying something new. So it's fun. It's fun to get new stuff. We all like getting new stuff. Even if it's new used, we still like getting new stuff. I mean, that's what it is. It's fun. I enjoy all of this stuff. I enjoy everybody and all of their different equipment that they run, and getting an opportunity to run some of the different equipment, talk to them, see what they like, see what they don't like, see how they do things different. It's really nice. Yep, so if it was 20 below, there'd be a whole lot more draft because of the heat rising. But when it's not as cold out, your draft doesn't pull as hard in your stove, so it takes a little longer to get going. The colder it is, the more draft you get because the temperature differential. But I mean, this stuff, this stove is made to leave the doors open like this and run it that way. It's one of those deals where it's just nice to sit by the fire. I mean, the sounds, I could just, white noise machine, if somebody had a crackling campfire as a white noise, one of the best white noise sounds there is. So, but all right, guys, I'm not going to keep you. It's Sunday night. We've all got work to do tomorrow, but I appreciate you guys stopping by. Remember, a little bit every day goes a long way. Help someone if you can. It's just really good to sit by a fire and to chat with a great group like all of you guys. I appreciate you. We'll see you on Wednesday, and we'll go from there. Have a good one, guys and girls.